It started as a routine call, the kind that police respond to every day without expecting anything unusual. But on that night, inside a hotel in Mesa, Arizona, everything would unfold in a way that no one watching would ever forget. Because a man named Daniel Shaver was inside his hotel room when officers arrived, responding to a report that someone had been seen with what looked like a weapon near a window. And from the very beginning, the situation was tense. Not because of what was actually happening inside the room, but because of what was assumed, what was feared, and what was about to escalate in ways that would later be captured entirely on Bodycam footage. Footage that would spread across the internet and leave millions of people shocked, confused, and questioning every second of what they were seeing. Because as Daniel stepped out into the hallway, he was immediately met with loud, rapid, and highly specific commands, instructions that seemed difficult to follow even under calm conditions, let alone in a moment filled with fear, confusion, and pressure. And as the officers continued to shout directions, telling him to move, to stop, to crawl, to keep his hands visible, the situation became more and more overwhelming, because each command came quickly, one after another, leaving almost no room for error, no time to think, and no space to process what was happening. And what made it even more intense was the fact that every movement Daniel made was being watched, judged, and interpreted in real time, with consequences attached to even the smallest mistake. And as he tried to follow those commands, slowly lowering himself, attempting to comply, trying to understand exactly what was being asked of him, the tension in the hallway continued to build. Because from one perspective, it was a situation of control and caution, but from another, it was confusion and fear colliding in a moment where clarity was desperately needed, but never fully given. And as the seconds passed, they felt longer, heavier, more intense, because everyone involved was locked into a moment that was rapidly moving toward a point of no return. And what makes this story so difficult to watch even today is not just what happened, but how it happened, how quickly things escalated, how unclear the situation became, and how a series of commands, decisions, and reactions created a chain of events that could not be undone. And when the footage was later released, people across the world watched it, replayed it, analyzed it, trying to understand whether things could have gone differently, whether the outcome could have changed if even one moment had played out another way. And as the case moved into public discussion and legal proceedings, it raised deeper questions about training, communication, and how critical moments are handled under pressure. Because beyond the footage, beyond the headlines, there was a real person at the center of it all, someone who found himself in a situation that spiraled out of control. And as the story continued to spread, it became more than just a single incident. It became part of a larger conversation, one that people are still having today, about decisions made in seconds, about clarity versus confusion, and about how moments like this shape the way we understand justice, responsibility, and the importance of communication in situations where everything is on the line.